What's up everybody, I am Fabi Made Up. Today we're going to try some of the makeup that I purchased during Black Friday and Cyber Monday on sale. And yes, I had already started putting my foundation on, but I messed up that intro, so I had to start again, which happens all the time. So yeah, I feel so fancy. This is the Tom Ford foundation, traceless, traceless stick. Anyway, it was 50% off. I could not resist because I have seen a lot of people talking about this foundation, particularly about its finish, saying that the finish is really skin-like. What I want to see is really how much coverage I can get out of it because, as you might already know, I have melasma patches, hyperpigmentation on my cheeks, and there's one patch right there. So I want to see. I don't think that this is going to be able to cover everything completely, just because it doesn't feel like a full coverage type of foundation in the sense that it's not matte. The finish is very skin-like. It still has a very natural glow. Yeah, I think that I'm just going to spot conceal some areas. So far, so good. Now let's move on to concealer. I don't have a new concealer. I'm gonna use my Makeup by Mario one in the shade 180. Is this one of my favorites? No, not really. I just want to continue to test it, but I find it more on the dry side. Yeah, more on the dry side compared to, say, something like the Tower 28 concealer. Not one of my all-time favorites. And while I'm blending this concealer, I wanted to mention the other thing that I got during the sale was a set of these, the Moisture Glows from Makeup by Mario. I really like this product. It's one of those glosses in a stick, and he came out with a holiday set where you can get 2 minis, and there's 3 sets total with different shades. I really like this product because it feels cooling on the lips, but what I like the most is just that it makes my lips look very hydrated and glossy, and it doesn't feel thick or sticky or heavy. So I am very happy with it. I'm actually going to reapply. Right now I'm wearing the one in Mauve Glow, and it has the slightest tint, just a little bit of color. Let's move on to the eyes. I am going to prime them real quick just with my NARS eyeshadow primer, which I often use. And I'm just gonna use the same foundation brush. Before we get into the second product, which is Give. You know the brand from Gwen Stefani? She had a 50% off side-wide during Black Friday. And I've been really curious about her brand. So I had a couple of things, but I wanted to pick up a few more, especially this guy. This is a cream contour and powder bronzer duo. So I wanted to see what the tones were like, and also just whether I liked it, whether I liked the application, the longevity, all of that good stuff. So we're gonna get started with the contour, and this is Balm, and this is a powder formula. Now this is not a first impressions. I have already played with all of these new products, I'd say about 4 times. I'm actually refilming, hold on, let me just decide what I'm gonna use for the contour. I think I'm gonna use the same foundation brush. I filmed this video yesterday, but I had the great idea of messing with my camera color settings right before I started recording. Ooh, I like this. You see the color? Huh, yes. I was messing around with my camera settings because I wanted to improve the color, the overall color of the image. And I went online, and this guy on YouTube just seemed very confident about how to fix or how to enhance the image. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna copy his settings. And so I did, and I just took for granted that they were gonna work, that they were gonna look okay. Well, I recorded the whole video, and then when I went to start editing it, the image was like, it had an orange cast. I was like, okay, that's great. That's what I get. I should have tested the settings, but no big deal. It just gives me more of an opportunity to play with the products. I'm curious to see how long this is going to last, because we will be doing a wear test where I will wear it for a few hours. Okay, so I also got this Makeup by Mario sculpting stick in the shade light medium. And I don't know whether to just draw it on. Well, I've done it both ways. One time I just drew it on, the other time I picked it up with a brush. I think I'm gonna stick to picking it up with a brush because I find that this formula does not blend as easily as this one from Give. It requires just a little bit more buffing, and I don't want to move anything underneath. But then again, as I'm applying it right now, it seems like it went on really easily. So just, to test, I'm going to actually draw it. Just one swipe, nothing major. And I'm gonna do one swipe. 2 swipes there. Let's do a little bit on the jaw, which I didn't do with Give. I will do that after. Okay, yeah, never mind what I said. It is blending out very nicely and easily. Let's see over here on the forehead. Okay, sweet. So just stippling motions. And it's okay if you stop at this, meaning that I would keep going with the blend, but I want to finish it up with the sponge. I want the final blending touches to be from the sponge. So let me just get a little bit more of the one from Give and put it here on the jawline. Okay, so the one from Give is a little bit more orange. So if you're trying to use it for a true contour shade, and by that I mean if you want a cooler, more grayer color that resembles a natural shadow. Oops, I took it all the way to the other side. Anyway, but the colors are good. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I am going to now take the sponge. And I think that this has to be one of the best makeup tricks when it comes to really blending everything together. And I was gonna say deleting any harsh lines, getting rid of any harsh lines in your makeup. A sponge, just going over it with a sponge after every step, right? So if you put your foundation on, then go over it with a sponge, push it in. You put on the contour, go over it with a sponge again. Just constantly going over every layer makes a huge difference. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you do. And remember to dampen the sponge. All right, we're gonna start working on the eyes. I am going to use the bronzer from the Give Duo. And I'm gonna just do something very simple. Just with the bronzer, I want to start defining the shape of the eye. So I'm just going to run it here along the crease. A very soft wash of bronzer, but it really makes a big difference to define the eye shape. Now for the eyes, I grabbed my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette, and I'm looking for just neutral, maybe semi-cool shades, because the next product from the sale that I'm going to try on is an eyeliner from Give, and it's a gray tone. So that's why I am staying with kind of like a cooler color scheme here on the eyelids. Again, just very simple. I'm placing a darker tone in the outer half portion of the eye. And then with a fluffy brush, I was using a Refer 02, by the way. But now I am gonna take a Refer 01, and I'm gonna take that same shade. Now I'm gonna start with Mesh. I think I'm gonna take Mesh first and start running it along the crease, a little bit lower than where I put the bronzer. Now I'm taking a fluffier brush. This is a number 27 from Refer, and I am going over the crease. This is just a clean brush that I'm using to soften all of the lines here. I'm gonna mix Mesh and Tender and just put that here in the lower lash line, just like that. Again, Mesh and Tender. So now let's move on to the eyeliner from Give. I didn't think that I would be so much into eyeliners, but I just find it really interesting to try different formulas because I do have a preference, and my preference is I want it to glide easily. I don't want it to tug on my eyelids. I don't want to have to go over the line, the same line over and over and over again to get good pigment. So that is what I want to test with this eyeliner. It's going on beautifully. It's gliding just perfect. And I'm taking a little pointy brush. I want to see if I can pull out a little wingy dingy. Yes? No? Maybe it dries too quickly. Let me put on another little blob. And then immediately I'm gonna take my pointy brush, yeah, and now try to flick out a little wing. Perfect. So that's really good news so far, that it seems like it dried down fast, but at the beginning it does give you some playtime. What I'm gonna do is we really are gonna put this guy to the test. Let's use it here on the upper waterline, and it's really tough for eyeliners to not make a mess and to not transfer onto the lower lash line because the waterline is so wet all the time. So let's see how it does. All right, next product that I got during the sale, this eye topper from Makeup by Mario. This is, the official name is the Master Crystal Reflector in the shade Quartz. I wanted to check these out. What I'm seeing here that I like about the effect is that the glitter particles are scattered. The base is sheer, but then it has glitter particles that as you apply it, they're not going on uniformly. They're more of a scattered look, and I like that. I really like that. So this I can use over any sort of eyeshadow look to give me that pop of glitter. Lovely. Okay, so now for mascara, nothing new. I am going to go in with my Pat McGrath Dark Star. This is a heavy duty one, and I am feeling a little bit extra today. So I am going to actually apply some mascara primer before. This one is from Dior. You're probably wondering, well, does lash primer really make a difference? Honestly, I did a video comparing this primer and other primers, different price ranges. I included some from the drugstore. This is one of my oldest videos, and I showed the results side by side, and let me tell you, they looked pretty much just identical to me. None of them really stood out. So does this really make a difference? For my lashes, I don't think it makes a huge difference, but I have it and I just felt like using it. I do find this wand to be very big, maybe too big, that it makes it hard to control where you put the product. I am just taking the excess and wiping it off because otherwise, I've had several mishaps. But I like this mascara for when I want really black lashes and I want to build volume. It really does give you that drama. Okay, so I'm just looking to see where we are. I think I want a little bit more brightness around here. So I'm taking my concealer brush from the Sephora collection number 71 and the NARS light reflecting eye brightener in the shade Golden Eye. And I just want to pop it here where I have the most darkness. And now I'm gonna set that concealer with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Brightening Flawless Powder. All right, now we're gonna keep working on the complexion. It is time for powder bronzer, and we're gonna just put the bronzer anywhere where I had placed the contour. Okay, so I am noticing that it is very easy to go too heavy with this powder. You need more of a light hand. I rearranged my mirrors and I'm so disoriented. I don't know where to look. Yeah, something like that. Okay, yes, I really went in heavy-handed there. Let's just keep buffing here, but very lightly. Okay, so that's the bronzer. I like it. Just again, light hand. So this is a blush that comes in a loose powder format. There's a cap. So you just put a little bit of that and you see how it's so finely milled that it's kind of going up everywhere. The brush that I prefer to use with this so far is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Powder and Sculpt brush because it fits perfectly here inside the cap and I can swirl it around. Normally I would go with a bigger brush, something like this, but it doesn't fit as well as this smaller one. Then I would get just too much product on the brush. So I think that this is better. This is what I've been using and I couldn't resist. I really don't think that this blush is practical at all. I mean, to dispense the loose powder into the cap, and from a practicality standpoint, I don't think it's worth it. I wanted to get it because I love the Givenchy setting powder so much that I just had to know. I had to know what this blush could do, what it was all about. I wondered if it was going to mattify. Oops, I put in too much. Oh well, I'm just gonna swirl it and see what happens here. I was curious to see if it was gonna mattify and blur as much as a powder does, or basically what's the deal with this blush. And I'm finding that the finish, and it's not mattifying like the powder, like the finishing powder is, and it makes sense because this is not a finishing powder, this is a blush. And I like that it has the slightest bit of radiance, of luminosity. There's zero sheen, like it's not metallic at all. There's no glimmer, nothing like that. Oh, look at that, it wasn't too much after all what I worked into the brush. I'm actually going back for more. I'm really liking the finish. I do feel that it does give you a little bit of blur, which is always really nice to have a little bit of blur. And I'm gonna bring it here on the top of my nose because sometimes I like to do that. And bring it up here to the temple just a little bit. And is that good? Yes. So overall, very pretty. I have it in the shade Organza CN, which is the number 4. Would I repurchase this in other shades? No. I would not, again, because I don't think it's practical, but it's very pretty. Yeah. And at this point, what I want to do is take my puff, my powder puff, and the brightening powder, and I just want to give a little bit more of that illusion of lift here on around the temples. So I'm gonna take some of this powder and just do that. Very easy. Yeah, just like that. And then with that same foundation brush, I'm going to lightly tap because I can't see the line a little bit. It's a little bit sharper than I would like it to appear. So just softly tap on it to diffuse it just a little bit while still keeping the bright full. Okay, so we're gonna continue with the Give products. I got a lip liner. This is called her Overlining Lip Pencil. She has it in 2 shades, in a nude one and also a red color. And especially I was intrigued by the shape. It has like a chisel shape to it, and I wondered if it was just gonna be gimmicky or if it actually served a purpose. Well, it turns out that it does serve a purpose. I don't know how to explain it, but the design is very intuitive. Once you actually start using it, it just lays right in the proper, it just makes it easier to line your lips. Then for lipstick, I got this liquid lipstick from Fenty in a red shade called the MVP. This is the shade that Rihanna wore to the halftime show, Super Bowl, and I really liked it. You do have to make sure that your lips are well hydrated. Look at that. Love that shade, and I love that matte finish, and it doesn't feel drying on the lips. It feels super comfortable. It feels very lightweight. There we go. What do you think? I am loving this shade of red. All right, so this is the finished look. We'll do a check-in in a few hours to see how things are looking, especially this eyeliner. I want to see if it's gonna stay put or if it's gonna transfer. By the way, it is now 2:42. Okay, I came outside just to show you what the makeup looks like. So yeah, this is how everything is looking so far. It is now 2:56. I'll see you in a few hours. All right, it's almost 9 p.m. So it's been about 8 hours since I first applied this makeup. As for the lips, I didn't really touch up the lipstick and I ate, so the lipstick went away. But that's not what I wanted to pay attention to. Really what I was looking at were 2 things. The eyeliner, I wanted to see if it would stay put, especially on my upper waterline, or if it would transfer and make a mess. And also, if you remember, we put the Give contour here and Makeup by Mario here. And I was concerned that perhaps the Give one, because it has more of a balmy texture, that it would kind of disappear. But I am looking at both cheeks and the contour seems to be there. I did not powder. I did put the bronzer, the powder bronzer on top of it. So maybe that helped. But still, I am seeing that I'm overall already, like my oils are peeking through. You see me a little bit too shiny, and that's because I did not go heavy with a setting powder and and I didn't use any setting sprays because of that. I kind of wanted to see the behavior of the contour. So even though I did put some powder bronzer, it's still performing very nicely. Yeah, I'm very happy with how, you know, what the face looks like. I'm also really liking the shade of the Givenchy blush. As much as it's not practical, it has this, like, I want to say like a terracotta shade. Like when you get a little bit too much sun, at least on my skin tone, that's what it looks like. Like perhaps I've been in the sun a little bit too long, and I like that look. Especially, I think you can see that I brought it here on the nose, so it gives us that natural kind of sunburnt look. At least, yeah, that's what it looks like to me. I'm really liking the complexion. Now, the eyes, the eyeliner, I think that the eyeliner is doing pretty well. I still see it there on my waterline. If I do that, it's still there. Perhaps it's a little bit faded, but it's still mostly there. I'm pretty impressed with that. I really didn't think, yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it or if you really want to see such a zoomed in shot of my eyeball. Anyway, you probably don't. But yeah, I can totally see the eyeliner is still there. I did film a clip of me in like a dimly lit room so that you could see the sparkle effect of the eyes. You know how when I was applying it, I was saying that I liked this scattered sparkle look? I think that you'll be able to see in this clip that just what I was talking about and what the sparkle looks like if you're wearing it, let's say, yeah, to dinner or to a get-together, somebody's house, and you don't have these bright lights like I do right now, but you're more in a more dimly lit setting, so you get an idea of what that sparkle in your eyes might look like. All right, that's it for me today. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, ideas, just leave me a comment. Say hello. If you're still watching, it means that you're enjoying this video, so you should probably go and watch one of these other two videos. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.